From translation, TLB the Living Bible this 134 day of the year. Today we are reading passages 2 Chronicles 13-17, 2 Chronicles chapter 13, verses 1 to 22. In the 18th year of King Jeroboam's reign, Abijah became king over Judah. He ruled in Jerusalem for 3 years. His mother was Maacah, the daughter of Absalom. Abijah went to war with Jeroboam to try to regain control of Israel. When Jeroboam and his army of 800,000 elite troops set up battle lines against Abijah and his army of 400,000, Abijah stood on Mount Zemaraim in the hill country of Ephraim. Abijah shouted to Jeroboam's army, "Listen to me, Jeroboam and all Israel. The Lord is the God of our ancestors, and he made a covenant with us when he brought us out of Egypt. It was he who gave us this land, just as he promised. He gave it to us forever. But you, even though you claim to be the Lord's servants, have rebelled against him. You have thrown out the priests, the sons of Aaron and the Levites, and you have made your own priests, just as the heathen do. So as long as you refuse to worship the Lord, you are on your own. You have rejected the Lord who brought your fathers out of Egypt, and now you are rejecting us who are his priests and the descendants of Aaron. Have you forgotten what the Lord did for you? Didn't the Lord drive out the Canaanites, the Philistines, and the Amorites before you? Didn't you take their land from them, and are you now trying to take it back? You have no right to be here. The Lord is the God of this land, and he has given it to us forever. You are only here because of your rebellion against him. But we will be faithful to the Lord God of our ancestors. We will serve him, and we will not turn away from him. We will obey all his commands, laws, and regulations that he gave our ancestors. So if you fight against us, you will be fighting against the Lord. But if you will return and worship the Lord, he will forgive you and restore you to your former position in his favor." But Jeroboam had sent his troops around to the rear to ambush Judah's army. When Judah realized they were being attacked from the front and the rear, they cried out to the Lord, and the priests blew their trumpets. Then the men of Judah shouted their battle cry, and with a mighty roar, God routed Jeroboam's army before Judah's attack. The army of Israel fled from Judah, and God defeated them, a tremendous slaughter that day. Abijah and his army defeated them with great slaughter, so that 500,000 of Israel's finest troops died that day. The army of Israel was defeated that day by the army of Judah, because they had abandoned the Lord, the God of their fathers. Abijah continued to grow stronger, and he married 14 wives and fathered 22 sons and 16 daughters. But the rest of Jeroboam's deeds, all his wars and how he ruled, are recorded in the book of the history of the kings of Israel. Jeroboam reigned for 22 years, then he died, and his son Nadab became king. Abijah's power declined after his death. His son Asa became king in his place. There was constant war between Asa and Jeroboam during their reigns. The rest of Abijah's story, including all he did, is recorded in the book of the history of the kings of Judah. Abijah and Jeroboam were at war with each other for 3 years. 2 Chronicles chapter 14, verses 1 to 15. So Abijah died, and his son Asa became king in his place. In those days the land had peace for 10 years. Asa did what was pleasing in the Lord's eyes. He removed the idolatrous altars and the pagan shrines, and he smashed the idols. He commanded the people of Judah to worship the Lord, the God of their fathers, and to obey his laws and commands. He removed the pagan altars and the incense altars from all the cities of Judah, and the kingdom had peace under him. He built up the fortified cities of Judah and placed armed guards in them. He had no more trouble during the rest of his reign. The Lord gave him peace on every side because he had been faithful to the Lord. As Asa's prosperity grew, so did his power. He built up the fortified city of Jebah and the city of Mizpah, without any interference from the king of Israel. While Asa had an army of 300,000 from Judah equipped with large shields and spears, and 280,000 from Benjamin equipped with small shields and bows, the king of Ethiopia, Zerah, attacked Judah with an army of 1,000,000 soldiers and 300 chariots. Zerah marched out against them with a huge army and reached Maashah. Asa went out to meet him, and they took up their battle positions in the valley of Zephathah near Maashah. Then Asa called to the Lord his God, "O Lord, no one but you can help the powerless against the mighty. Help us, O Lord our God, for we trust in you alone. It is in your name that we have come against this huge army. O Lord, you are our God, do not let men prevail against you." The Lord struck down the Ethiopians before Asa and Judah, and the Ethiopians fled. Asa and his army pursued them as far as Gerar, and so many Ethiopians fell that they could not recover, for they were crushed before the Lord and before his army. The army of Judah carried off vast amounts of plunder. They attacked all the nearby villages, for there was much plunder in them. They also attacked the camps of the nomads who had many animals and took many sheep and camels. Then they returned to Jerusalem. 2 Chronicles chapter 15, verses 1 to 19. The Spirit of God came upon Azariah son of Oded. He went out to meet King Asa and said to him, "Listen to me, Asa, and all you people of Judah and Benjamin. The Lord is with you when you are with him. If you seek him, he will let you find him, but if you leave him, he will leave you. For a long time Israel has been without the true God, without a priest to teach them, and without the law to obey. But when they were in trouble and turned to the Lord, the God of Israel, and searched for him, they found him. In those days it was dangerous to travel, for all nations were in constant turmoil. One nation was cruel to another, one city to another, for God was troubling them with every kind of distress. But as for you, be strong and don't give up, for your work will be rewarded." When Asa heard these words, he was encouraged to purge the land of its idols. He removed the idolatrous altars and the pagan shrines, and commanded Judah to seek the Lord, the God of their fathers, and to obey his laws and commands. He also commanded the people of Judah to bring to the Lord the silver and gold that they had dedicated for the temple. They brought to Jerusalem all the silver and gold they had found in the towns of Judah and Benjamin. They also brought with them the sacred objects that King Asa's father Abijah had dedicated. In the 3rd year of Asa's reign, they brought all these things to the temple of the Lord. Then in the public square of Jerusalem, before the new temple, they made a covenant to seek the Lord, the God of their fathers, with all their heart and soul. They all agreed that anyone who refused to seek the Lord, the God of Israel, would be put to death, whether small or great, man or woman. They swore to the Lord with loud shouts, trumpets, and horns, and all Judah rejoiced because the oath was taken with such enthusiasm. And because they had sworn to seek the Lord with all their heart, he was found by them, and they enjoyed a time of peace. King Asa also deposed his grandmother Maacah from her position as queen mother because she had made a repulsive Asherah pole. Asa cut down the pole, crushed it, and burned it in the Kidron Valley. Even though the pagan shrines were not removed from Israel, Asa's heart was fully committed to the Lord all his life. He brought into the temple of the Lord the silver and gold, and the sacred objects that he and his father had dedicated. He also removed the silver and gold from the treasuries of the temple of the Lord and of his own palace. So there was no more war until the 35th year of Asa's reign. 2 Chronicles chapter 16, verses 1 to 13. In the 36th year of Asa's reign, King Baasha of Israel went up against Judah and fortified Ramah to keep anyone from leaving or entering Judah. Asa then took all the silver and gold from the treasuries of the temple of the Lord and of his own palace, and sent them as a gift to King Ben-Hadad of Aram, who was ruling in Damascus. "Let us make a treaty between us," Asa said to Ben-Hadad. "My father and your father made a treaty. I am now sending you silver and gold. Break your treaty with King Baasha of Israel so that he will withdraw from my land." Ben-Hadad agreed with King Asa and sent his armies to attack Ijon, Dan, Abel-Beth-Maacah, and all Kinnereth, as well as the territory of Naphtali. As soon as Baasha heard about it, he stopped fortifying Ramah and withdrew to Tirzah. Then King Asa mobilized all Judah, and they carried away the stones and timbers that Baasha had used to fortify Ramah. Asa used these materials to build up the town of Geber in Benjamin and the town of Mizpah. At that time Hanani, the seer, came to King Asa with this message from the Lord: "Because you have trusted in the king of Aram instead of in the Lord your God, you have lost the battle. Can the Ethiopians and Lubim give you any strength? Can they help you if you are in trouble? Relying on a foreign king has brought you down. The Lord knows those who belong to him, and he will fully reward you for what you have done. Now you have done a foolish thing, and from now on you will have to fight wars." Asa became very angry with Hanani the seer for saying this. He put him in prison and at the same time began to oppress some of the people. Everything else Asa did, his courage in battle and the cities he built, are all recorded in the book of the history of the kings of Judah. But in his old age he became diseased in his feet. When he was very ill, he did not seek the Lord's help but only the physician's. So he died in the 41st year of his reign. He was buried in the tomb he had carved out for himself in the city of David. He was laid on a bier in the resting place that was filled with spices and perfumes prepared for him, and they made a huge fire in his honor. 2 Chronicles chapter 17, verses 1 to 21. But Asa's son Jehoshaphat succeeded him as king and strengthened his position against Israel. He stationed troops in all the fortified cities of Judah and placed garrisons in the land of Judah and in the cities of Ephraim that his father had captured. The Lord was with Jehoshaphat because he followed the example of his father's early years and did not worship the detestable idols of the nations. He sought the God of his father and followed his commands rather than the evil practices of Israel. So the Lord established Jehoshaphat's kingdom, and all Judah brought him gifts. Jehoshaphat became very wealthy and highly esteemed. He was careful to remove the pagan shrines and Asherah poles from the land of Judah. In the 3rd year of his reign, Jehoshaphat sent his officials, Ben-Hail, Obadiah, Zechariah, Nethanel, and Micaiah, to teach the people throughout the towns of Judah. They were accompanied by Levites and priests, and their message was this: Fear the Lord and serve him faithfully with all your heart. Obey the commands and laws of the Lord. Do not worship other gods or serve them in any way. If you do, the Lord will be angry with you, just as he was angry with your ancestors. If you obey the Lord, you will prosper. The Lord will keep his covenant of love with you, just as he promised your ancestors. But if you turn away and refuse to obey, you will be destroyed. You will be destroyed just as your ancestors were, because they refused to obey the Lord their God. So the king's officials went out throughout Judah, teaching the people from a copy of God's law that the king had provided. They traveled from town to town in Judah, teaching the people everywhere and bringing them back to the Lord. Jehoshaphat's army was organized as follows. The commanders of the army divisions were Adnah, who commanded 300,000 soldiers, Jehohanan, who commanded 280,000, and Amasiah son of Zikri, who was a volunteer for the Lord and who commanded 200,000. In addition, Jehoshaphat had an elite army of 280,000 soldiers under the command of Eliada, and 200,000 under the command of Jehozabad. The total was 1,160,000 soldiers, all brave warriors ready for battle in Jerusalem. Jehoshaphat also stationed garrisons in all the fortified cities of Judah, and he placed troops in the land of Judah and in the cities of Ephraim that his father Asa had captured. All the people of Judah brought gifts to Jehoshaphat, and he became very wealthy. He was highly honored by surrounding nations. But Jehoshaphat did not remove the pagan shrines, and the people still continued to worship them. The rest of Jehoshaphat's deeds, all his wars and how he ruled, are recorded in the book of the history of the kings of Judah. Jehoshaphat died and was buried with his ancestors in the city of David. His son Jehoram succeeded him as king.